we're a trade association for the renewables industry. We do renewable power generation, renewable heat production, transport fuels and biomethane to grid. We have over 850 member companies, corporate members, and we're a broad church, so we have to organise ourselves so that members with common interests can actually kind of be in fora which meet regularly, and we've got 9 of those different sort of sector groups. And our main aim is to get government policies in place and effective to actually help us meet the Renewable Energy Directive target, 15% of our total energy by 2020, and then beyond that to keep increasing the renewable penetration.
Right. What do you see then as the main issues that your members are facing at the moment?
Right. Well, I'll take power generation first of all. We've got the renewables obligation, which will be replaced by whatever comes out as a consequence of the electricity market reform. We need to make sure that in the interim, in the transition period, potential generators have clear rules that will enable them to progress project development. Investor confidence needs to be maintained, and at the moment there are quite a few unanswered questions, and we can't afford to have a hiatus in project development. On the heat side, of course, we've had the announcement that the renewable heat incentive will start. That is an ongoing process because there's phase 1 and then there's the following phases. So we know that it's a policy which will evolve. We hope there won't be, but inevitably there probably will be some teething problems with the policy. So we're imagining we're going to continue to be very heavily involved with DEC in sorting out those issues. For transport fuels, government policy is far from supportive at the moment. We've got a 10% target for transport within the Renewable Energy Directive target, and we aren't on a trajectory to meet that at the moment. So we need to actually firmly establish ourselves on a trajectory for that, and have more supportive policies for transport fuels in there. And biomethane to grid, the final sort of sector we look after, it's going to be covered by the renewable heat incentive. There are quite a few issues to resolve in terms of bringing the price down of the connection process, regulatory aspects. One could describe them somewhat as gold plating at the moment, so some rationalisation needs to be brought in for that. But all in all, that's going well. In fact, a subsidiary company of the REA called Renewable Energy Assurance has just launched a certification scheme for green gas going onto the grid, so that you can match up a kilowatt hour of renewable gas put in one location with a kilowatt hour of gas taken off at another location. And this is important to avoid any double counting when people are describing the kind of projects that they're doing on biomethane.
Quite a few users of the Green Energy Net site are operating at the feed-in tariff scale of project. Now, there's been a lot of media debate about the feed-in tariff recently. What are your concerns, and how are you trying to address those?
Well, I mean, the most dramatic kind of media coverage has been surrounding solar PV. Of course, in hindsight, the tariffs had proved too high. For a good reason, the reason being that the cost of solar panels had fallen dramatically, since the introduction of the tariff, and it will continue to do so actually. So it is important that the tariffs keep pace with cost reductions moving forward. But the problem is that investor confidence has been undermined by a government fast-track review of PV over 50 kilowatts, and also the acceleration of the wider review. So quite a few investors have actually lost money on schemes they've been progressing, which of course is bad for the sector and bad for other parts of the renewables industry as well. So we hope to see some stability returning to the feed-in tariff policy following the resolution of these 2 reviews.
Okay, thanks very much for talking to us.
That's a pleasure.
That's great.
Thank you.